When audiences engage with different texts, we might think the words are how we are making meaning. And surely, when you read a book like The Great Gatsby, the words are helping you to follow the plot, to imagine the characters, and to interpret the literary meaning. However, we also make meaning in other ways, like through the visual design of a text. And some texts, like charts and paintings, include very few, if any, words at all, while others mix words with images and space to make meaning for their audiences. Think about why this syllabus becomes harder to read when it looks like this, even though the words are exactly the same. That is because the visual design is something our brains use to make meaning. And then there are times when we need to hear things to make meaning, like during political debates. And these debates aren't just about hearing words. How candidates gesture and emphasize their speech helps us, the audience, make meaning. All of these different ways of making meaning are called semiotic modes, and compositional scholars would argue that we never just rely on one of these modes when we are interpreting texts. Rather, we are always interpreting multiple modes. When analyzing text, we of course want to ask questions about the rhetorical situation, like who is the audience, what is the purpose, what constrains the composer, and how does the text fit the rhetorical situation and all its parts. But we might also ask questions like how is the audience making meaning through the design of the text, and what modes are being used to communicate that meaning. In this infographic, for example, two semiotic modes, image and words, come together to explain to audiences common sources of standing water while showing them where those sources might be visible in their homes. As well, the spatial layout creates a clear and logical progression, helping readers of varying literacy levels quickly scan the text. As composers, we need to think about how we want to use the modes available to us strategically. We might ask which modes best communicate to our audience and best fit our situation and purpose. Considering these will lead us to the modes and genres that best fit our purpose for composing. For instance, how would you compose for an academic audience in a classroom setting with the purpose of arguing a point? You might choose something like a presentation, which would allow you to use images, text, and video clips to persuade your audience that your side was correct. But if you're composing for new FSU students to inform them of an orientation event using Facebook, a presentation wouldn't work anymore, right? That's because there's a new situation we want to reach. On Facebook, you won't expect to hold the audience's attention long enough to give a presentation. You want something quick, engaging. These rhetorical elements, audience, purpose, situation, genre, modes, are all interrelated. So instead of relying on an oral-heavy genre like a presentation to engage new FSU students on Facebook, maybe a text that relies on more visuals like a flyer would be more effective. This brings us to a closing point. Not all modes are equally fitting for composing situations. Some modes better fit certain situations and audiences. And that's because modes have affordances, or the potential to do something well because of how they are made or understood by society. Consider this video. How has viewing it been different from reading an article on multimodality, or viewing an infographic, or attending a lecture in a face-to-face classroom? All of those delivery systems offer different affordances.